In the first two videos, we clarified the relationships between excess capacity and industrial subsidies, trade surplus, economic imbalance, and market competition. So what exactly is driving the continuous growth and development of China's modern industrial system? The rapid growth of China's modern industries is driven by innovation. China's steady, healthy industrial performance relies on continued, deep-going reform. China stays committed to an innovation-driven development strategy, and has blazed a successful path, whereby C-Tech innovation spearheads industrial innovation, and industrial upgrade propels C-Tech revolution. As a major national strategy, pursuing development through innovation is the key to the sustained and sound long-term growth of China's economy. During the 14th five-year plan period, the total R&D expenditure nationwide grew by an average of 10% annually, making China the world's second-largest R&D spender. In 2025, basic research accounted for more than 7% of total R&D expenditure, setting a new historical record for China. Numerous industries have achieved technological breakthroughs and secured leading positions through arduous, long-cycle and capital-intensive R&D. These efforts, not government subsidies, underpin the competitiveness of Chinese products. The vigorous growth of China's new energy and intelligent connected vehicle industries, for example, has been enabled by C-Tech breakthroughs in new materials, power batteries and communication technology. Domestic new energy vehicle manufacturers have carried out consistent investment in R&D and industrial layout for over 2 decades, cultivating unique technological edge. Since 2018, energy density of power battery has risen by more than 50%, while production costs have fallen by over 60%. A Morgan Stanley report suggests that the focus of China's NEV sector has shifted from price wars to technology battles, with AI applications such as intelligent driving systems further consolidating its industrial advantages. China stays focused on empowerment through innovation, contributing to significantly greener and smarter traditional industries. China supports enterprises in adopting digital and smart technologies to drive industrial optimization and upgrading, and promoting higher-end, smarter and greener industries. In recent years, industries in China have grown increasingly eco-friendly. Over 8,000 national green factories and more than 600 green industrial parks have been built, and the 246 national green data centers are 50% powered by green electricity. Of all industrial enterprises above the designated size, 89.6% have launched digital transformation, and 57.7% have installed digital equipment. China has 109 lighthouse factories, nearly half of the global total. China enhances the application of innovation, building massive training grounds for new industries and new arenas. China has a complete industrial system. A promising C-Tech outcome, backed by China's manufacturing strength, can be rapidly turned into real-world products. China has the 1-hour Electronic Information Technology Innovation Circle in the Yangtze River Delta, and the 30-minute Support Circle in Shenzhen's Robot Valley. Its highly advanced new energy industrial circles enable electronic vehicle manufacturers to source all their components within a 4-hour drive. China has a supersized market of more than 1.4 billion people, in which constantly emerging new business types, models and scenarios create the finest testing grounds for verifying 0-1 breakthroughs and 1-N upskilling. The rise of sectors such as the new export trio, NEVs, lithium-ion batteries, and PV products, and the new IT consumption trio, smart and connected NEVs, smartphones and computers, and smart robots, is closely related to the massive application scenarios. China presses ahead with supply-side reform, with the utilization rate of industrial production capacity kept within a reasonable range. In recent years, during the supply-side reform, China has taken such measures as phasing out outdated production capacity to improve industrial capacity utilization, achieving a generally balanced and stable performance in terms of the total supply and demand. In 2025, the capacity utilization rate of industrial enterprises above the designated size was 74.4%, and higher capacity utilization was observed in high-tech manufacturing, high-end equipment manufacturing, and strategic, emerging industries. By sector, the average capacity utilization rates over the last 3 years were 78.9% for general equipment manufacturing, 74.8% for electric machinery and apparatus manufacturing, 73.3% for automobile manufacturing, and 76.9% for manufacturing of computer, communication equipment and other equipment. The temporary low capacity utilization rates in certain traditional raw material sectors mainly stem from adaptive adjustments brought by structural changes and green transition, which are normal during the high-quality upgrading of industries. China keeps refining the institutions and mechanisms for market-based allocation of production factors to foster an enabling industrial ecosystem. In recent years, China has been increasing support in resources and factors of production, putting in place a diversified investment system with enterprises leading the way, government providing guidance and society participating, building a group of major C-Tech research facilities and infrastructure, and training some 7 million university graduates in science, engineering, agriculture and medicine every year. In deepening reforms of systems and institutions, China has introduced a series of new policies and measures in areas including intellectual property rights protection, risk sharing and innovation incentives. On improving the institutions and mechanisms for ensuring the supply of production factors for new business types and areas, China has sped up the development of new infrastructure such as new type power grids, computing power networks and new generation telecommunication networks, so as to effectively remove barriers to better resource allocation, further enhance total factor productivity, speed up the transformation of growth drivers, and promote the sound and sustainable development of industries. More importantly, China's industrial modernization is China Opportunity 2.0 to the world, not China Shock 2.0. The US and other Western countries have come up with the so-called China Shock 2.0, falsely accusing China's industrial development of posing threats to Western countries' monopoly and squeezing the development space of the global South. This is not supported by facts and totally untenable. For more than a decade, China has contributed around 30% of the global growth, making it a critical engine driving the world economy. In the past, China's big market and low-cost production factors provided the world with market dividends. Today, while continuing to provide even greater market dividends, China is also offering development dividends as an anchor of stability and hub for global industrial cooperation through its industrial development. Moreover, it is also offering more and more innovation dividends with its technological progress. What these combined dividends generate for the world are greater opportunities and potential of development, also known as the China Opportunity 2.0, more frequently mentioned by the international community, as reflected in the following 4 aspects specifically. First, pushing forward innovation cooperation and scientific progress on a global scale. China is committed to an open approach to innovation. Many of its innovations, such as large AI models, are open source, enabling more countries, particularly developing ones, to access affordable new technologies to enhance their development capacity. China's large open-source AI models have been downloaded over 10 billion times globally in cumulative terms, and large-scale scientific facilities in controlled nuclear fusion, quantum technology and other areas are open to the world. Fast-growing innovative Chinese companies generate several, even dozens of, times of returns for global investors. Here in China, enterprises from various countries can quickly find whole process partners from R&D to prototyping and to mass production, making innovation more efficient. This not only helps companies succeed in the Chinese market, but also boosts their global competitiveness. These are proof enough that what China's technology and products in emerging areas bring to the world are not shocks, but opportunities. Not threats, but empowerment. Second, accelerating global green and low-carbon transition. With climate change as a global challenge, achieving green and low-carbon transition is the common aspiration and development need of all countries. China's quality new energy products enrich global supply, promote green and low-carbon development, and contribute to achieving the targets set in the Paris Agreement. According to a report from the International Renewable Energy Agency, over the past decade, the average cost per kilowatt-hour of global wind projects has decreased by more than 60% and PV power projects by more than 80%. The reductions are largely attributable to China's innovation, manufacturing, and production capacity. The U.S. journal Science crowned the global renewable energy surge led by China among its top 10 breakthroughs of 2025. With the global energy crunch and rising electricity demand driven by AI, green transition is becoming an important area of international cooperation. The IEA projects that global electricity consumption of data centers will reach approximately 1 trillion kWh by 2030, and 40% of the growth in power demand will be met by renewables. China boasts significant advantages in scale and technology in solar, energy storage, and electrification, enabling it to provide green energy equipment and solutions. Third, improving well-being for people of all countries. In recent years, the global economy has been suffering sluggish growth and high inflation. High-quality, high-performance and cost-effective Chinese products have enriched global supply, lowered costs of living, and eased global inflation pressure. China's textiles and home furnishings, daily consumables, smart devices, home appliances and medical supplies are exported to over 200 countries and regions, offering stable, reliable and diversified choices to global consumers. According to Australian media, the Chinese products that are helping keep inflation under control have expanded from daily necessities to high-tech equipment, such as solar panels, significantly benefiting US and European consumers. A report published by the European Central Bank estimated that a 10% increase in EU imports from China would lower overall import prices by 1.6%. According to Brazilian media, amid continuously rising costs across the world, China maintains relatively moderate inflation with the advantage from its manufacturing system and helps emerging markets, including Brazil, lower inflationary pressure. Fourth, contributing to industrialization in developing countries. China's exports of high-quality, cost-effective manufacturing equipment and components, including sewing machines, textile machinery and industrial machine tools, have made manufacturing more accessible for developing countries. From 2012 to 2024, the value of China's exports of textile machinery to developing countries exceeded $30 billion, helping countries like Vietnam, Pakistan and Bangladesh become major textile manufacturers and exporters. China's imports have also created export opportunities for developing countries. From 2010 to 2025, China's imports of labor-intensive products from developing and least developed countries grew by 3.5 times and 16 times respectively. China's investment has enhanced developing countries' industrial production capabilities. More than 50,000 Chinese businesses have been established overseas, and China's outbound investment has exceeded $3 trillion, with nearly 90% in developing economies. They have driven the implementation of a large number of projects in light industry, textiles, home appliances and other industries, promoted the development of new areas, such as digital and green sectors, and helped many developing countries in Southeast Asia, the Middle East and Africa move from the margins of supply chains to serve as key nodes in the global manufacturing network. China believes that the international community should jointly pursue open and inclusive cooperation on global industrial and supply chains. It should enable all economies to promote mutually beneficial and win-win cooperation for common development, respect the law of the market, advance economic globalization, strengthen coordination of industrial policies and maintain a sound cooperation environment, expand market openness and jointly create cooperation opportunities, and uphold multilateralism to build a more just and equitable international economic order. The issue of capacity is a natural outgrowth of industrial iteration, market volatility and evolving division of labor, amid global economic development. All countries should view the so-called capacity controversy objectively and dialectically on the basis of economic laws, with a market-oriented and global perspective, focus more on exploring cooperation rather than creating confrontation, work together to remove bottlenecks in global supply and demand, optimize global resource allocation, and promote the sound and sustainable development of global industries. Economies make progress through exchange and interconnectivity, and fall behind because of seclusion and closeness. China cannot develop in isolation from the rest of the world, nor can the world as a whole maintain prosperity without China. China stands ready to work with all parties to safeguard the global free trade system, the stability and smooth functioning of global industrial and supply chains, and an open and cooperative global environment, so as to make the global economy more sustainable and universally beneficial, promote common prosperity for the world, and ensure that development outcomes benefit all peoples.